Okay, the next story links very much to the interest in Sheffield Wednesday. Now, this has developed a lot in the past 24 hours, but let's start from the beginning, discuss the topic. And that is this from the Star, I believe it is?
This is from the Star, yes.
Yes. John TEXTOR seeks, quote, construction project amid Sheffield Wednesday interest. Billionaire businessman John TEXTOR is believed to have shown an interest in buying Sheffield Wednesday, and they're a club that line up with his hopes for a construction project. As reported on Monday night, the Star understands that TEXTOR is looking for immediate reinvestment into English football, most likely the Championship, after selling his stake in Crystal Palace, and that Wednesday are one of a handful of clubs being considered. The American is the owner of Eagle Football Group, whose stable includes Brazilian side Botafogo, Belgian outfit Daring Brussels, formerly RWD Molenbeek, as well as French giants Lyon and Youth Project FC Florida. Worth mentioning that a couple of them, I believe, are Club World Cup sides, so money going into them at the minute. He's explained since selling his Palace stake, which was 43%, that he was disappointed in the lack of collaboration with the group, whereas in Wednesday's case, with a transfer embargo and a 3-window fee restriction, there will be a huge scope for potential loan moves from his various other clubs. Speaking to The Athletic recently, TEXTOR explained, quote, I believe Eagle is probably known to be the most collaborative multi-club in terms of player movements between the clubs. We have something called roster optimization, where we are looking at what each player needs and wants, and what each club needs and wants, and then we fill in the gaps in our squads. Collaboration helped us, Lyon, bounce off the relegation zone at mid-season, right in the Europa League, and now in our second season in the Europa League. That comes from collaboration. It has helped us go from second division to champions of South America with Botafogo, and collaboration is just how we beat PSG. That was in the Club World Cup, if you didn't see.
Yep.
It has disappointed me that our English league partner, Palace, has chosen not to accept any of our obviously qualified players from top teams, top leagues, and top national teams. And so to really promise player pathways to the players that we have in different parts of the world, we have to have a collaborative UK partner. It's a must. It is our promise to the athletes. It is our promise to the community. That collaboration needs to go two ways, and it doesn't currently with Crystal Palace. That's the reason we chose to sell. We're turnaround guys. We like a construction project. There's nothing more exciting to me than the idea of buying a second division team and getting promoted. But we might also look in the Premier League if we think there's real opportunity to catapult a team from mid-table to upper table. We think we're capable of doing that. Our strategy for Palace was to get to the Europa League every year, not just a one-off cup win every 100 years. Whether TEXTOR actually makes a move and to try and buy the Alston Deschamps Chancery remains to be seen at this stage, and actually agreeing terms, if he does, is another challenge. But his comments to The Athletic certainly suggest that Wednesday are a project that fits the bill in terms of what he's looking for. So there's interest there. This is also a Simon Jordan link, Jake, because Simon Jordan's mates with him and has been pushing for, hey, buy Sheffield Wednesday. With that because it was something like, I think he made over £400 million from the sale of his shares in Crystal Palace.
It was 190.
Oh, was it 100?
Yeah, 190.
Oh, yeah, I must have been looking in dollars.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah, it was. Because I was looking at the valuation of Palace based off that.
There you go. Yeah, it was 190 million. Now, the thing for me is with us being in a free window fee restriction, you could do the whole Watford Udinese thing, players swap from players to club without any fee.
Yes,
would be helpful. But again, I don't like that myself when other teams do it. But if you, that would be what you had to do, that was what you would have to do. But going into this, you look at the stuff that he's done with Lyon and Botafogo. Like, Botafogo still owe Burnley money for a transfer. They haven't paid them yet. You've got Lyon have got debts, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I'll be honest with you, when the name first popped up, it made a lot of sense. Then you do digging into his other clubs and what's going on. And then you go, are we going into Chancery 2.0 here?
I don't think we are. Necessarily, because, and I'm going to present the other side of this.
He had got the money.
I think this is a better situation than Chancery, purely because of the track record. Yes, it's not perfect, But let's just read this FT article. So it's from FT.com. This
Have
US
a
businessman
look
John.
through it as well, because there's a big paragraph where there's a load of words.
Yeah, that's fine. US businessman John Textor has been threatened with legal action by 3 investors who backed his takeover of Lyon after the French club was demoted from the top division because of its financial troubles. So this was this week. In March, Lyon reported a net loss of 117 million euros in the first half of the financial year and outstanding debt, excluding money owed on player transfers, of 445 million euros. Textor bought Lyon in 2022 at a valuation of almost 900 million euros, including debt. It was the biggest takeover in French football history. The original purchase was funded by more than 400 million euros of financing, mostly provided by US investment firm Iris Management, and $75 million in equity from Iconic Sports Management, the investment vehicle of 3 investors led by Dinian, founder of York Capital Management and the co-owner of Milwaukee Bucks NBA franchise. The contribution from Dinan, Nasta and Isla was part of an agreement to merge Eagle Football with a special acquisition company owned by Iconic. Dinian and Nasta became board members. This is all just about the board. Nasta and Isla claim Textor owes them $93.6 million, consisting of the original $75 million plus interest. Iconic declined to comment. Textor said, Iconic have failed to comply with their obligations, including their competitive failure to deliver a viable SPAC or space, or I think that's something businessy. Yeah, it's a typo or it's a business acronym, which was the basis for their involvement in the first place. They simply are not entitled to the contractual benefits they now claim. Earlier this week, Textor agreed to sell his stake in Crystal Palace. We've just talked about, though. The sale will raise about $200 million, some of which has been earmarked to help reduce Lyon's debts. Right. Can I just say that when this sanction occurred, for Lyon, the relegation,
yes,
and this is why I'm not ultimately too worried. I believe, I might be getting my figures slightly wrong here, but from everything I've read and watched, Lyon were already in an absolute ton of debt when the club was bought.
I think when he bought them, they were it's either 400 million or 500
I've heard 400 million.
Debt, and I think he'd taken it down to 200 million.
Yes. Which means you can't pin all this debt on them, on Textor, because he's took it over, and it's a case of what I'm seeing there is he's shrunk the debt there, but also they threatened the middle of this season, the French league went, we're going to relegate you if you don't sort your finances out. What did Lyon do at the end of the season? The first moment and chance they got to try and fix this. You what, sorry?
They sold one of their star players to City.
Sold 2 players. Yeah. They sold, and Cherky's one of the big ones. They offset the money. By the time they were sanctioned by the, I'm used to saying the EFL because we've been sanctioned by it so many times. By the time they were sanctioned by the French league, they didn't have a chat, because debt, you can't just put the money into it, and it's sort of like you have to do it with profit and sustainability and all of that thing, even in the other leagues. The only time they had to offset that was the end of the season. So of course they're appealing. There's talks about appealing. They've sold it there. It's a very, I think it's very harsh the way they've thrown the book at Lyon.
But at the same time, you also look at what's going on with his Brazilian side. They're about to have face disciplinary over unpaid transfer fees.
Yeah, that's a bit more sketchy. It is. It's true.
It's that whole thing, because as much as, and the worry I have when you have you've got multi-club teams is if one of those multi-club teams is doing better than the rest, or they go into that one, then they don't. My thought
process about this, though, Jake, is English football is a lot more profitable when you get it right.
Oh, it 100% is. But if he did get us up and say we did go into another situation like Palace, would he have to have another situation like Palace where he has to sell it because UEFA don't? But
that's the thing. He seems willing to sell in this situation and take on another project. Chansiri didn't. and doesn't. You know, like this is what he's sold his shares in Palace. And I've looked at what the Palace fans have said about him, and they mainly don't like the fact that he pushes this multi-group ownership stuff so much, right? Because, we don't want to be that. We want to be our own right sort of thing. We don't need the players from this. We don't want to be just part of this chain. At Sheffield Wednesday's current state, in the Championship, being part of a multi-club ownership would be fantastic at doing things on the cheap and repairing the club.
Yeah, I agree.
And yes, there's worries at the higher level. But if we get to the stage where Wednesday are pushing for Europe in the Premier League, I'll have a reassessment at that point, Jake. We could have made sure we get out League One third. Yeah, exactly. I'll have a reassessment at that point. Because at the minute, this, even with the concerns around him at that level, I don't blame Lyon's finances completely on him. You can't if you look at it and you look at what's happened. Yes, there might have been bad decisions made there, but it looks like they're not paying the wages. Well, they're not paying the players.
He's not short of a bit of cash.
Yeah, and he's got the feels in general football. Like, we got to remember, Chansiri came in and didn't know anything about football. This is a team and an organisation that's got all of this. There might be all of this going on, but he throws the money into Wednesday. It's probably going to be pocket change for him to keep Wednesday running. If we look at the scale up and give us a couple of the people in Lyon's academy sort of thing. Like, I think they've got a good grounds for appeal, Lyon, because of the way, how else are you meant to raise funds, Jake, and get out of debt? You sell your star players, and they've done it.
See, the thing is, there's been this kind of thing where people have been saying it's Chansiri wanting to stay, right? Could someone like a John Textor do a deal where it's like, right, I will sell you the club, but if you're wanting to stay, you're on the board, but you have no say, no nothing, and whatever we make, we give you a dividend.
God, that's actually
I don't want
terrible.
that idea. I don't want that idea. I think we need a complete fresh start. But if he goes, the only way I'm selling is if I get some sort of, like, I get to stay. Because for whatever reason, he reluctantly doesn't want to sell, but knows he got to sell now. Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, you look at what's going on. I have a funny feeling Lyon will win their appeal because I think they're going to do what, ironically, Troy did last season. Remember, Troy, they got relegated to the semi-professional division. That's why Upbo deal took so long. Yeah. And then they got reinstated, and I think that's because Bordeaux went bust, if I remember correctly. You've got to look at what's going on in French football. They are trying to get their house in order because big clubs keep going bust, and they're realising they can't keep having these lot of big fees paid for players. Now, the problem we got, we're going to have to watch the Lyon situation quite carefully now because it might change what happens with Wednesday if he does put a bid in or has a look.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, Jake, like, given the state of Sheffield Wednesday, like, we need saving now, right? The future is the future. Like, this for me isn't out of the frying pan and into the fryer. This might be like out of the frying pan and into the boiling pot, right? That's eventually going to boil. Yeah. Okay. But it's at a very, 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 it's not even got to a gentle simmer yet. If he takes over, we buy time and we build and we see what happens. And then there's nothing stopping. Wednesday that are looking up with this American investment, he diverts his shares. He what's the word? It dissolves his shares a little bit, okay? It dilutes, that's the word, and brings other people in. And it becomes more of a thing as Wednesday rise.
Yeah.
And there's just so much more potential here than Chansiri's got, in my opinion. So, especially because the other clubs are actually a benefit because Wednesday can literally do things with a transfer restriction.